Hello YouTube, this is PycoPie from the MC Party server. I'm actually, shouldn't cover my mouth, but I'm actually going to be doing a different type of video right now. I'm going to be talking about where the channel is going, what I'll be doing. I will be doing some writing related items on the channel, some Let's Plays, and some other stuff that I'm working on right now as well. Yeah, so, what do we need to do? You know what, let's just go, we're just going to collect some nice spruce wood while I talk. So, the thing is that, I used to do YouTube, and I wanted to be a YouTuber. I saw what people were doing, it seemed like a fun thing to do. It seemed like a lot of people... Yeah, and just got a lot more exciting than it was meant to. So I used to do YouTube. My intent was to actually become a YouTuber as a profession, or at least to supplement my income. And the problem is that I took it a bit too seriously. I would really like to sleep, but oh, Joshua's on. Today. But yeah, what the... Yay, Wolf, my hero! God damn, I'm a terrible person. You know what, I'm just gonna go in my house and replace some walls. Really... I think they turned it to hard mode. All of a sudden. So anyway, I used to do YouTube, I wanted to be a professional, but I took it way too seriously and it took all the fun out of it. And the problem with taking all the fun out of YouTube is that does not work. You can't, like, first off, I didn't want to do something that I didn't find fun, and second off, it really impacts the quality. It's just generally not worth it. So, what I want to do this time around is I want to have some more fun. And that means I'm not going to be, doing it with business. None of my new videos are going to have ads. Or at least they shouldn't have ads on the TV. They changed how they... You goddamn cows. Arg. So they changed how they did YouTube, so supposedly it's not... God damn it. That was really annoying, and I know why people didn't do that. Okay, so supposedly there shouldn't be ads on the screen. There should just be ads to the side. Other than that, I'm not going to do any ads. Additionally, I'm not going to kill myself trying to make perfect videos. I could make better videos, and I don't want to drive myself crazy, so I'm not going to worry too much about that. I am going to continue to improve. I'm just not going to kill myself over, spend 4 hours editing a video or anything like that, like I used to for my writing videos. However, I am still going to do writing videos. I expect about once a month to do a video for people to improve their writing. I'm planning on doing audiobook reviews. The job I have right now allows me to listen to a lot of audiobooks. So I'm listening to a lot of books on Audible, and I think it'd be really cool to review some of them. A lot of them are going to be series, so it's going to be like the first one's a general overview of the series and the first book. The second one is going to be just the second book, so on and so forth. And I think I can do that about once a week. I'll just make a few notes about the books, and then I will just do like 5 to 15 minute reviews. And the nice thing about audiobooks when you review them is some audiobooks really add a lot to it. William Shakespeare's, they did a William Shakespeare's version of Star Wars, for instance. And having a bunch of different voice actors and actresses, some sound effects, and the music adds a lot more to that type of book than just having one person read it. So I'm going to do audiobook reviews about once a week. I'm going to do books about writing about once a month. I might give updates to my writing about once a month as well. I'm going to do Let's Plays, probably about 2 a week. And every once in a while, one of them might not be a Let's Play. They might be a how-to guide or just some short clips. Highlights really cool things. And most of all the Let's Plays and stuff will be Minecraft. But I might throw in some other stuff. I might do a League of Legends here or there. I might do Overwatch when new games come out. I might do those instead for a little while, and I'll probably have at least one Minecraft video a week. And not, I'm not going to completely get rid of Minecraft. It's one of the reasons why, I'm doing this, is because I like the idea of Minecraft and I like playing it, but I also like the idea of sharing it and building a community. Most of the work I've done with fanfiction and conventions in the past has been community oriented. I built several forums on fanfiction websites. I helped a convention get to 3,000 people. So all that is basically what this channel is going to become. It's a little bit of video games, a little bit of writing, a little bit of audiobooks review. And then I'm also going to be working on my writing, because I do want to be a professional writer. I have a lot of ideas that I want to do towards that. The problem is that while I do know a lot about writing, and I've actually done some public speaking about writing in front of several thousand people. I think 4,000 was about the limit, and half of that was present, half of that was online. That was for that convention, and I interviewed author Amy Keating Rogers, who does script writing for kids' TV shows. But talking about writing is all well and good, but I actually do know a little bit about how to write. Generally, I spend too much time experimenting. But if I'm going to be a professional writer, you don't need to experiment to be a professional writer, nor do I intend to be an experimental professional writer. But I have 3 routes I could go. I could go the route of a traditional story. 2 of my ideas for novels, obviously novel gives it away, but 2 of my ideas are for novels. One of which both could turn into series, but one's meant more as a standalone than the other. And then I also have an idea for a choice of game. So what Choice of is it's a game company that does choose your own adventure style games. Now in the 90s, choose your own adventure style novels gained some popularity, and I think they've been around for a long time, but in the 90s they picked up again for a little while before dropping off. And the nice thing about Choice of Games is their system makes it really easy to organize a choice of style novel, choice of style game. It really is in between the two. The reader makes choices, and those choices lead down different paths. But the nice thing about a game is that you can say, hey, you're working at like a, say it's a novel about being a spy, right? Well, the reader gets to make choices, and those choices might affect them. So if they practice lying more, right? They do things that involve a lot of lying. Gosh darn it. Then they would, they would become better at lying. So that when you tell a big lie, you're better at it. You'll get away with it. You progress the story because you were lying before and you're better at it. Now you can do that again. And so that is awkward. So one of my ideas is to do a choice of game like that. And the nice thing about it is that it really lets a new author get in for the first time a lot easier. And part of that's because right now they're doing a contest. So I'll include a link to the contest down below for this into Choice of Games. But the top 3 submissions will be fully published by them. Plus, they will get award money. I think it's 5,000 for first place, 3,000 for second, 2,000 for third, I believe. That might be incorrect, but I'm pretty sure that's at least close. And the so, even though I've never technically been a professional author before, I can get in this way a lot easier. And even if I don't win, they're still willing to publish good stories. So as long as I do a good story, well, I can publish through them. And they have 2 different tiers of publishing. You can be a kind of a true hired professional publisher, or you could be a I don't want to do that way. Or you could be a kind of an indie publisher through them. Being a true publisher has the advantage of they do the editing, or they do some editing, they do extra promotions for it. Doing indie means you don't get either of those. However, being indie does allow you to being indie does allow you to publish through them and get the same publish rates, which for them is 25%. It's really good. If you get a contract through them, you get a 25% cut of the publishing, or cut of the sales. Plus, you get to keep your intellectual property. Intellectual property is huge for a lot of writers. They want to own their property. What I'm doing for that, or what I think I'm going to do for that submission entry, I don't really care about the intellectual property as much. However, it is something a lot of people like to keep a hold of. But the 25% is huge. If you publish a novel, and you get 15%, and it's your first novel, you've gotten generally a fairly good publishing deal. Getting money up front is great. Generally, you get about $5,000, sometimes a little bit more, sometimes less. Especially if you're a first-time author, or your name's not. Basically, if you haven't gotten a particularly good seller yet, those rates would be kind of normal. Through Choice of Games, if you become a main publisher through them, you get like $7,000 or $9,000 up front, and it affects the percentage you get to keep overall. So if you need more money now, you can take more money in advance and get a slightly smaller percentage over the long term. Although for the contest, if you get one of the top 3 stories, you get 25%, which is their highest rate. But if you're doing an indie publishing, they don't do any upfront, but I think you get to keep the better rate, because they're not putting in nearly as much effort into it, which is fine. That's perfectly understandable to me. I would have a professional edit the story anyway, and so Choice of Games is I think going to be my best choice. The other 2 choices are publishing a novel about a coming of age in a fantasy setting, with a half elven girl. I've written a lot of fan fiction that involved female characters because what I wrote for had more female characters than male. But the thing about that type of fan fiction was that it's not... Coming of age is very different than a generic story. A story where someone happens to be a woman is one thing, right? Or happens to be a girl. If you're doing a coming of age story, what's with all the creepers? You guys don't know this, but when I was doing the recording before, like test recording, because my recording settings got all screwed up, there were so many creepers and spiders and stuff, and now we're having it again. I think they up the difficulty, maybe? I don't know. But that coming of age story follows the tale of the hero's journey. So there's an established set of things that generally happen in a hero's journey. You don't have to have them. You know, you could have the mentor be a mentor for the whole, for the main character, and be there throughout the whole story. That generally doesn't happen. There's a lot of good reasons for that. Primarily, if the mentor is around and able to do and is training someone, generally he's able to do those things, which creates a problem in the story. Why are you following a main character who's doing a lesser cool thing than the mentor? You do get some series where the mentor's around for like a couple of stories, but at some point they die, basically. My story actually gets around that. It has the mentor there the whole time. I'm not going to reveal why, but it doesn't actually draw away from the story. But the coming of age part of it is going to be difficult, which has slowed me down in the past, but it's also the story I've done the most work on so far. So I could pursue that route with that story. I could also pursue, and that story's all plotted out. I have the world, the magic is physics-based, so like if you're making an explosion, you have to separate the hydrogen and oxygen in the air, and then recombine them to create an explosion. So it's kind of a nifty little physics-based magic that also helps magical technologies make more sense to people, or at least that's the intent. At the same time, I have a second novel. So the third option is a story about a basically a necromancer whose phylactery. Well, let me start. So if you have a necromancer, generally they have what's called a phylactery, and that's just common to their lore. You don't have to have it. But in my case, I had the phylactery basically end up merging with a regular person. And so this person has part of a lich's soul with him, and they're traveling around, and that part of the lich's soul is dissatisfied by how long it's taken for his other self to rule the world. And so it's about them working together, and it's got a lot of dark humor, but it's also very much a written as you go story, so it tends to be a little bit more impromptu, a little bit more humor based than the other coming of age story. And the Choose Your Own Adventure story that I was writing is a space adventure. It's a little bit, it's not really coming of age, it's kind of, you've picked your path using magic in a science fiction world. So you have your planet, and your planet that has magic is thrown into this world with technology. There's not a lot of other, that was really weird. There's not a lot of other magic users out there. But you have to go out and fight, and you're fresh out of school. So it's a lot of combat, it's a lot of figuring out how things work, which I think is nice for a Choice story. And yeah, those are my three options. Well, I guess they all have magic in them, so they're all fantasy in that sense. One of them's sci-fi, one of them's, I think, more the story with the Lich is a little bit more steampunkish, a little bit more piratey is kind of how it's going, and the coming of age story is very much a more typical hero's journey, except for some of the tropes are very much turned upside down. So those are the stories I'm working on, and then I'm also going to do some fan fiction on occasion, just because they're nice and short. I'm not going to do long fan fiction. That takes too much effort. I get too into making it perfect, and especially with my writing style, which is edit as you go. The more I put into a story, the more I change it, the more I go back and change other stuff. So that'll take a long time. But I'll probably do a lot of short stories for fan fiction, and if I get going for that, I might take requests and do readings on my YouTube as well, or have someone else do readings. So those are my options for writing and what I plan on doing there. I plan on doing probably one fan fiction a month, and I might give a monthly update for my other writing projects. And then on this channel, I'm going to do about 2 video game episodes a week. Probably Minecraft Let's Plays. Occasionally, maybe other stuff if something interesting comes out. I think Mass Effect's coming out early 2017, so I might do that. And then I'm going to do a Audible review a week. Squid! And then, I need their ink sacks. And then I'll do, you know, I might also do something I've been thinking about is soda reviews. We used to have a really good soda place around here, called the Root Beer Store, and the guy had to leave for family reasons, but he actually had 3 stores open up here, before he had to move away for family reasons. And as a result, I was introduced to the wonderful world of non-standard sodas. So they had like 160 types of root beer, and I don't actually think I'm exaggerating there. They had a bunch of other sodas as well, so I might, even though they're closed, I might order some other sodas and do reviews of those. So that's everything. This has been a review of what I'm going to do on my channel and what I'm doing creatively, so I will see you later this week with more Minecraft. Have a good day. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I figure, you know, if I don't do that, how will you know I'm a sellout?